The following footage was captured by a family's security camera one night as the husband was heading out for his night shift. On several other nights, he's caught glimpses of shadows passing across their window, shapes moving just enough to be noticed. Yet every single time he checks, whether by looking outside or reviewing the camera feed, there's never anything there to explain it. But this night was different. Watch. There's clearly a figure moving across from left to right, not something easily dismissed as light distortion, but something with form, something that moves with intention, passing by in a way that suggests presence rather than coincidence. And yet, he still leans toward a logical explanation, suggesting it could be a neighbor, someone passing by at the wrong moment, something ordinary that just looks unusual under the camera's angle and lighting. But his wife sees it very differently. She believes he's in denial, especially because this isn't the first home where they've experienced things like this. In their previous house, they reported seeing full apparitions, not shadows, not shapes, but clear figures appearing and vanishing without explanation, which raises a far more unsettling possibility. Shadows like these aren't just passive, they're described as entities that attach themselves to people rather than places, following them, reappearing across different homes, gradually becoming more noticeable over time. So did they ever really leave it behind? Or did it simply follow them here? For now, with no clear explanation and no answers that fully account for what's being captured, this one remains unsolved. In this next video, a group of paranormal investigators enter the Cleanwater Demon House in Reno, Nevada, a location that has developed a terrifying reputation over the years, with local legend claiming that at least a dozen people lost their lives on the property, and that it was also the site of repeated occult activity spanning several years. The kind of history people believe can leave something behind that doesn't simply fade with time. And that raises the question the team is trying to answer, whether that kind of repeated tragedy and alleged ritual activity could have built up into something darker that still lingers in the structure itself.
Gets even more compelling. This is the shot from the camera that was sitting inside of that room. I'm gonna sync up the audio from this camera to our cameras and show you that there's no explainable reason that something should have been behind that door. I don't know what it is about that staircase, but it just doesn't feel good. What was that?
What?
I don't think that was a shadow. It was on the other side of that window. Had we realized in the moment what we captured, I don't think we would have walked by that door so casually. Can you show yourself on that staircase again? Ooh, did you hear that?
I thought it was you.
No, it was like out there. Look. What was that?
Dude, what was that?
What the f was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It sounded like grumbling. Like,
yeah.
What the f? What the f?
Clear shadow figure appears behind a window. Not a distortion, not a passing reflection, but a defined presence standing still long enough to be noticed before disappearing again. leaving no physical trace behind. Whether it is tied to the tragic history of the property, the alleged years of occult practices said to have taken place there, or something far less understood that has simply remained there over time, the reality of what continues to exist inside that house has never been fully confirmed, and that is exactly why the mystery of this building still remains unsolved. In this next clip, a woman wakes up every single morning to find her cookbooks scattered on the kitchen floor, and she has no idea why. She suspects rodents at first, which is a reasonable enough explanation, so she decides to set up her computer as a makeshift security camera to record the kitchen overnight and finally get some answers. Watch.
Okay, every single morning, these are on the floor. Every single morning. So I'm gonna hook up my computer and see if I catch anything tonight. Maybe it's just rodents, but we're gonna find out.
What the camera catches over the course of a single night is hard to dismiss. At around 1 in the morning, one cookbook slides off the counter on its own and drops to the floor with a loud clatter. Some viewers think this is a spirit making itself known through repetitive behavior. Objects moved in the same spot night after night as a way of asserting presence. Others think whatever is in that kitchen isn't trying to communicate at all. So what do you think it wants? Now, in this next clip, a man is sitting alone in his room at night, wearing a headset and holding a gaming controller, just relaxing, when a loud, grating, scraping sound erupts from somewhere off camera, stopping him cold. He gets up to investigate, finds a crumpled piece of paper on the floor, and clearly isn't satisfied with that as an explanation, so he decides to confront it. Watch.
Here we go again. The fucking lights. See? Let's do it again. I'm not gonna run.
After he shared this video, many viewers immediately landed on the word poltergeist, and it's actually a fitting label here, but you be the judge. Now, in this next clip, Vexvan Garcia is walking down a long, narrow hallway at night, phone in hand, documenting what he says has been an ongoing series of strange occurrences inside the home. Watch.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de Vexvan García? Vamos a estar siguiendo documentando sobre lo que pues he estado capturando aquí, lo que hemos estado viendo, pero... ¿Vieron? ¿Vieron? ¿Vieron?
At the far end of the hallway, something small and dark darts across at incredible speed, low to the ground, moving right to left, and disappearing into the shadows before you can fully process what you're looking at. The figure's shape is too low and too fast for a person, and some viewers have compared it to what's often described as a shadow child, a small, dark form that moves with unnatural speed, frequently reported in homes where ongoing paranormal activity has already been documented. More unsettling theories suggest that small entities like this are often described as scouts or markers in paranormal folklore, appearing briefly before more noticeable activity begins to escalate, almost as if something is testing the space or observing the person inside it. And once you factor in the way it moves, low, deliberate, and unnaturally fast, it becomes harder for viewers to dismiss it as something ordinary passing through the hallway. Because the real concern isn't just what was seen in that moment, it's the possibility that it wasn't alone in that house at all. This next video is one of those cases where the evidence doesn't come from a single moment, but instead builds across multiple incidents in the same home, across the same night cycle, as if something is slowly making itself known, both inside the house and just beyond it in the yard. The footage was shared by a woman named Lauren Combs. According to her, both her roommate and their dogs began acting unusually alert and protective without any clear reason, standing near doors, reacting to empty spaces, and refusing to settle as if they were sensing something that hadn't fully revealed itself yet. That alone was enough for her to check the new backyard camera they had installed just days earlier. What she saw left her unsettled. Watch. Outside, a figure can be seen pacing near the tree line, almost as if it is surveying the property rather than simply passing through it, before eventually retreating back into the darkness without any audible footsteps, no rustling, no disruption of the environment around it. That detail alone already raises questions, because movement without environmental interaction is one of the most commonly reported traits in so-called apparition sightings. But she didn't jump to conclusions immediately. It wasn't until she woke up to her dogs jumping on her, frantic, trying to get her attention toward the outside again, and shortly after, she began hearing knocking coming from outside the house. After the third knock, she started recording. Watch.
Luna, come here. Sit. Come here. Look.
There's no visible source for the sound, no person shown on camera, but what follows is even more disturbing, because right at the end, something responds with a low growl, a sound many viewers described as too deep and unnatural to be human, and too controlled to be an animal caught in distress, leading to speculation that it could be something mimicking animalistic behavior, a presence that doesn't fully reveal itself, but still reacts when acknowledged. Some believe it could be tied to what paranormal accounts describe as a territorial entity, something that lingers near boundaries of a home before attempting to breach it once attention is drawn to its presence. After this, Lauren reportedly reached out for help to have the house and surrounding area blessed, hoping to remove whatever was attached to the property. But that's where things took a darker turn, because she later admits she made one decision that may have changed everything. She opened a window. And in the context of these reports, many viewers pointed out something chilling, suggesting that whatever was outside may have already been waiting for an opportunity to come inside. What followed only strengthened that fear. Watch.
Because my search is 6 and I am 1.
I gave you 6 points, I'm deducting 7. This is ridiculous.
Don't make me think about numbers again. A brave and accurate decision. Yes, aye, Captain.
Yes.
Yeah, holy Captain, your horticulture is harvestable.
Ah, good from all thinking.
Hurry happily and Hank, he's hungry. Hollow hippo.
Something inside the house pulls her hair, a sudden physical interaction that she didn't believe until she reviewed the security footage and confirmed she was completely alone in the room. No pets, no visible intruder, no logical explanation for contact like that. And her own words make it worse, as she explains she initially thought it was her cat, only to realize the cat wasn't even in the room at the time. Now she's left reaching out for help, describing it as something that has gone beyond just being seen outside the house, something that has now crossed into it, interacting directly, escalating in ways that feel increasingly intentional. And with no clear answers, no confirmed source, and no sign that it has left, the question now shifts from what is outside the house to what is already inside it. The following clip dates back to June 28, 2013, when a man was at home in Arlington, Virginia, during a powerful storm. With nothing else to do, he picked up his iPhone and began recording the storm from his apartment window, capturing 3 short clips simply to pass the time, with no expectation that anything unusual would come from it. Days later, while going through his phone, he considered deleting the videos, but before doing so, he decided to watch them one last time. And at first, nothing stood out. Everything seemed normal, just flashes of lightning and the outline of the storm outside. But after replaying one of the clips a few more times, something finally caught his attention. Something that hadn't been visible to him in the moment while he was recording. Watch. For a brief moment, the faint figure of what appears to be a girl, or possibly a woman, can be seen standing near the window. What makes this detail particularly unsettling is the context surrounding it, because there was no power in the apartment at the time, meaning no internal light source that could create reflections. And directly opposite the window is a solid wall, leaving very little room for the figure to be explained as a reflection from outside. He was also completely alone in the apartment when this was recorded, and more importantly, he did not see or sense anything unusual while filming, which raises the question of how something so visible on camera could go entirely unnoticed in real time. Some interpretations suggest that certain conditions, like storms, power outages, and sudden changes in light, can create the perfect environment for unusual visual anomalies, where shadows and reflections behave in ways that can be easily misinterpreted. However, others believe that moments like this, especially when something appears only on camera and not to the human eye, may point to something that exists outside normal perception, only becoming visible under very specific circumstances. Whatever was captured in that clip remains unexplained, and without further evidence or updates, this incident continues to linger as one of those recordings where something is clearly there, but what it actually is has yet to be determined. In this next video, a cafe that now serves customers every day was once an old hardware store, a place that already carried years of history before it was ever transformed. But what makes this location particularly unsettling isn't just its age, it's what reportedly happened there, because according to accounts tied to the previous owners, the original owner's son passed away inside that very building about 9 years ago, leaving behind a story that didn't end when the place changed hands. The new owners began noticing something strange not long after moving in, because every afternoon at exactly 3 p.m., long after the cafe had closed and everyone had left, they would hear distinct footsteps moving through the space, slow, steady, and consistent, as though someone was walking through the cafe during hours when it should have been completely empty. Curious and unsettled, they decided to set up a camera to see if anything could explain the sounds they had been hearing. This is what they found. If you look closely, something in the frame appears to move, subtle enough to miss at first, but clear enough on replay to suggest that whatever is moving is not part of the normal stillness of the room. In other recordings, they captured additional activity inside the cafe. Watch. In this clip, a chair moves on its own, with no one present in the store at the time, no visible cause, no disturbance in the environment that could explain the motion, which only deepens the unease surrounding what might be happening there. Moments like this begin to shift the narrative from coincidence to pattern, because when movement is repeated in an empty space, especially in a location tied to a past tragedy, it invites speculation that whatever once occupied that space may not have fully left. Now in this next video, a man named Troy begins documenting a series of disturbing events happening inside his home, and from the very beginning, there's a clear pattern to it all. Because whatever is present doesn't simply move things randomly. It almost feels like something is attempting to rearrange the space to its own preference, only for it to come off as chaotic and destructive, leaving rooms in disarray as though an unseen presence is constantly interfering with the natural order of the house. Drawers are left open, objects are shifted out of place, and furniture appears slightly repositioned between moments, not in a way that feels accidental, but in a way that suggests intention, as though something is actively interacting with the environment and reshaping it, even if imperfectly. Watch this.
It's getting more intense.
You can hear heavy footsteps, like someone is moving freely from one part of the house to another. The same activity has been reported in multiple areas of the house, including the third floor where his son usually plays, which only adds another layer of concern, because now it's not just about unexplained movement, it's about something potentially occupying spaces meant to feel safe. Watch.
It's happening on the third floor, too.
Again, the same stomping, the same scattered movement of objects, but this time accompanied by several orbs drifting through the frame. At this point, the pattern begins to feel less like coincidence, and some warn that repeated disturbances like this can escalate over time if whatever is behind it is not addressed. And that's where it starts to get more unsettling, because if this is something that's growing more active, then what Troy is experiencing now might only be the beginning of something far more intense. So if you've ever dealt with something like this, or have any idea what steps might actually help in a situation like this, share your thoughts. Because in cases like these, sometimes the difference between things getting better or worse comes down to what you do next, and whether or not you understand what you're truly dealing with. In this next video, two sisters are home alone inside their bedroom when their house alarm suddenly goes off.
I'm recording. Wait. Do you hear that? Can you check the security footage? Oh my god.
The security app shows the front door wide open, as if someone has just walked in. Naturally, they assume it's a break-in, but when they replay the exact moment the door opens, there's no one there. To make things worse, a police siren can be heard outside around the same time, adding to the panic. But that was not all that happened.
What is it?
They hear their bedroom door open. Convinced someone is inside the house, they make a split-second decision to escape through the window. After the footage spread, many viewers blamed the wind, but the sisters posted another clip explaining why that theory doesn't hold.
Wondering that maybe the door was the wind, but clearly, as you can tell, you have to kind of force down to close it fully, and there's just so much space between, don't mind. There's kind of like a huge distance, so there's no way the wind could have gotten that.
After explaining the door situation, they showed what completely changed their perspective. A moment captured on camera that made them question everything they thought they knew about that day. Take a look.
Clear.
small, shadowy figure dashes past the camera. It moves incredibly fast, too fast to clearly define. There are no visible features, no clear arms, legs, or face, just a dark mass that crosses the frame and disappears. And if you look closely, the motion camera seems to adjust, almost like it's tracking something moving freely through the house. The sisters say this is a new build, not an old property with some long-forgotten history. So the typical house history explanation wasn't even on their radar. But the sequence is what unsettles them most. The front door opening first, then the bedroom door, then the shadow figure appearing inside. They believe something forced its way in, and that raises an earlier question. If something unseen opened the front door, could it have also opened the bedroom door? Skeptics might argue camera glitches, motion blur, pressure differences in the house, or even a small animal moving quickly past the lens. Security cameras, especially in low light, can distort shapes and exaggerate speed. But the sequence of events, alarm, door opening, bedroom door moving, shadow figure, happening back to back is what unsettles most viewers. So what do you think? A chain of coincidences and technical quirks, or something that entered that house and moved through it freely? The following clip was captured during a paranormal investigation in San Antonio, Texas, on December 11th, 2016, inside a location that investigators had already described as deeply unsettling long before this footage was recorded, with reports of cold spots forming without warning, faint whispers heard in empty rooms, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched that seemed to follow anyone who stepped too far inside, especially in the darker sections of the building where the air felt heavier and the silence never quite stayed silent. According to those familiar with the location, it wasn't uncommon for equipment to malfunction or spike unexpectedly, as though something unseen was interfering with the environment, and there had even been previous claims of shadowy figures moving just out of sight, never fully visible, but always close enough to be noticed. Watch.
Do you need help moving on?
Alright, so let's put this shit back.
See if we got quiet.
Is there anyone here right now?
Can you give us a sign that you are here? Reach out and touch my shoulder. My right shoulder. Give my jacket a quick tug.
If anyone's here, could you please state your name? Now we're just using my phone because the other recorder died. Whoa, that was weird. I think.
What?
I think I panned over here and it looked like,
What appears in the footage is difficult to dismiss because a white mass suddenly darts from left to right with a speed that doesn't quite match anything physical in the space before it seems to shift direction and reach toward the investigator, a movement that feels almost reactive rather than random. The way it moves has led many to believe this isn't simply dust or camera interference, but a ghost, especially because of its shape, its direction, and the timing of its appearance. Moments like this tend to blur the line between explanation and speculation, because while there are always attempts to rationalize what's seen, the behavior of whatever appears in this clip doesn't settle easily into a clear or comfortable answer, leaving behind a moment that continues to raise more questions than it resolves. And for now, whatever was captured in that investigation remains a mystery. The following clip was recorded by a girl on her 15th birthday. The house was full of relatives, music playing in the background, wrapping paper scattered across the floor as she laughed and unwrapped gift after gift. At one point, she picked up her phone to film a short video for her school friends, wanting to show them one of the dolls she had just received. But before she could even finish the video, something happened. Watch.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron a sus 15 años.
As she holds the doll up, its head slowly turns toward her. It rotates deliberately, stopping at an angle that makes it appear as though it's looking directly at her, but there's no visible mechanism inside it. No motor, no battery compartment, no switch. After seeing the video, her parents immediately took the doll away, but the panic wasn't just about the movement, it was about where it came from. The doll may have been purchased by a guest from a thrift store, meaning its history was completely unknown, and that's where the fear deepens. In paranormal lore, objects, especially dolls, are often described as vessels, not because they're inherently evil, but because their human-like features make them symbolic anchors. If something were attached to that doll, removing it from sight wouldn't necessarily remove the attachment itself. Some believe that once an object has been inside a home, whatever is connected to it can linger even after it's discarded. There are countless stories online of people throwing dolls away, only to find them returned to their porch, back in storage boxes, or replaced by unexplained activity inside the house. Others claim that after attempting to burn or destroy items like this, the disturbances escalated, lights flickering, doors opening at night, shadows appearing more frequently. If you were in that situation, if you saw that head turn on its own, what would you have done? Would you throw it away and hope that ends it? Or would you try to cleanse the house? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This next video was captured on a man's Ring camera late at night, and ever since reviewing the footage, he says he hasn't been able to look at his front yard the same way again. Watch.
Caught this on my Ring camera last night.
The movement started from here, and what immediately stands out is the way it moves. It doesn't scatter or disperse like dust caught in infrared light. It holds its shape. The outline remains strangely consistent, almost compact, as it floats forward. Many viewers initially suggested it could be dust, pollen, or an insect passing close to the lens. But typical dust particles caught in night vision tend to expand, blur, or fragment as they move. This form doesn't behave that way. It travels in a controlled path, maintaining structure before slowly fading from view. But that's not the only unsettling detail. In the audio, a faint voice can be heard, like a little girl saying, "We're here." The footage was recorded around 3 a.m., and at this time, no kid should be outside playing. Investigators sometimes warn that entities may mimic children's voices to seem harmless, drawing attention or curiosity rather than fear. But the phrase itself is unsettling. We're here, not I'm here, plural. If it was a trick of the audio system, it's an incredibly eerie coincidence. If it was a child's voice from somewhere off camera, why does it sound so close to the microphone? And if it wasn't either of those things, then what exactly was floating across his yard that night? And if that voice truly said what it sounds like it said, then the question isn't just what was there, but how many. Now in this next clip, a man known online for his extensive doll collection captures something unsettling inside his daughter's bedroom, and it happens while she's asleep. He says it was a normal afternoon, his little girl was taking her nap, the house was quiet, and he was in the living room when he suddenly began hearing loud tapping sounds coming from her room. Listen closely.
What is that? See, it ain't my daughter because she's napping right there on the bed. It sounds like her closet door fell. Try not to wake her up. I don't know. No, it's not doing it. See, she's snapping, right?
There was no one else in her room and there was no visible movement near her crib or bed. And then, after a short while, something else happens.
Whatever it was not even waking her up. Nah. Come on, man, she's in here sleeping. No, that didn't even wake her up. Come on, man. You need to get out of her room. Dude, I'm telling you, that thing was closed, right? Come on, man. Now why is she sleeping? Man, I am good on that. You need to get out of her room. Play somewhere else. What the man? You need to stay out of her room.
People familiar with this family already know that the man collects dolls, dozens of them, many antique, some with glass eyes, some displayed throughout the house. Over time, viewers have also claimed to spot strange shadows in the background of previous videos, objects slightly repositioned between cuts, and unexplained noises when no one else was home. Yet despite all of this, he continues to insist that whatever is in the house feels friendly. But that belief is what unsettles many viewers the most, because entities that begin subtly, tapping, knocking, light movement, don't always stay subtle. Some investigators warn that labeling something friendly too quickly can lower natural caution, especially when children are involved. So what exactly is sharing that house with them? I'd love to hear what you think about this one. The following video is about a man who claims the activity in his home became so disturbing that he eventually had to leave and stay at his girlfriend's house just to get a break from it. It started with small disruptions, unexplained bangs in the middle of the night, doors clicking shut when no one was near them, and lights that would suddenly shut off and remain off for several long, deliberate minutes before turning back on by themselves. He describes those moments as the worst part, standing in complete darkness at 4 a.m., waiting, feeling as if something was intentionally holding the room in silence before restoring the light. Then one morning, around 4 a.m., he woke up to the sound of laughter clear enough that his first instinct was to assume it was his TV, but when he checked, the television wasn't even on. Some viewers tried to analyze his situation, but to prove that it wasn't just the house, he decided to leave for a few days and stay at his girlfriend's place. He believed that if the disturbances stopped, then the house was the source. Watch.
So yeah, I've been staying at my girlfriend's house, but guess what, guys? You're not gonna fucking believe it. The ghosts have followed me here. And she's bugging the fuck out. her mother is bugging the fuck out, and I'm bugging the fuck out. I mean, I guess I should have expected this, but let's just see what's been going on. Her door has been opening in the middle of the night. This closet door has been opening up in the middle of the night, and it's like hard as to open. We put shit in front of it so it wouldn't open. Hearing all types of knocks, hearing people run up and down the stairs. I mean, this house is 100 years old. And then to top it all off, my girlfriend goes in the shower today, and on the mirror it says, "We are here." And the writing is fucked up.
Look at that R. It's like that. Look at that R. Why is it? Oh my god. I'm not doing this shit. I gotta move out. What the? I gotta move out.
Yeah, so that was on the mirror. I mean, it looks like anybody could have written that, but in person, the way it was written is mad weird. It's like squiggly lines. Her mom tried cleaning it with Windex and it wouldn't come off. And then after all that shit happens, her mom goes downstairs, and she's a very religious woman, and she has like this little, I guess, Bible, would you say it is, or what is it? I guess
it's a regular Bible.
Like a Bible.
I'm also sick. I don't have one.
Yeah. So she goes downstairs and looks at it, and she left it closed. She goes down and looks at it, and it's open on the same exact page that her husband and her father died. The same exact day, May 22nd, it says it in the book.
What it says on the page is very like you were meant to hear it kind of thing. Like, it was just like so weird timing and just like a weird page.
So we're thinking maybe her dad is trying to protect them from whatever I brought in their house. What do you guys think?
According to him, his girlfriend and her mother had never experienced anything unusual in that house before he arrived. To him, this isn't a haunted house situation. It's something attached to him, something that follows him wherever he goes. But there's another layer. He mentions that his girlfriend's house is over 100 years old. Some speculate that perhaps his presence didn't bring anything. Maybe it just triggered something already dormant there. In paranormal belief, certain individuals are thought to act as catalysts, unintentionally amplifying or awakening existing energy in a location. Still, what unsettled people most was when he started having dreams.
What's up? So, I've been MIA. I came back from Cancun, and yeah, I'm tan now. But some wild shit happened to me the other night, and my eyes are going a little bit, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house, and it was around, I swear to God, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was 3:30, like on the dot. It was like 3:20, 3:29, 3:20.
And I started, she said I was freaking out in my sleep.
I woke up to uncontrollably shaking right next to me, like literally freaking out, like not screaming, but like loud enough to wake me. And he was freaking out, shaking like a seizure almost.
Yeah, and I had no recollection of it at all. Nothing.
Said his name about 10 times, wouldn't wake up. I smacked him so hard across the face, and that's when he shot up.
And I woke up, and I told her I had this insane dream that I was in my house, and like, I don't know what happened. I thought I was sleeping in my room, and I started getting carried away by, looked like, I don't know, these dark shadow figures. They had like these big nails and teeth and crazy eyes, and I literally got picked up by them, and they were carrying me away. And then I told her that, and then I was like, yo, I have this crazy pain on my arm, and I shit you not, yo, this is legit, like, this is real. Like, Grayson here is like freaked out about it, and so am I. Wait till you see this shit, bro. Wait till you see this shit. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. As soon as she woke me up, I felt something like pain on my arm. And look at that. As hard as she scratches, no matter how hard she scratches, it will not go into my arm like that.
No, this is crazy.
Didn't I tell you though when I woke up my arm was hurting?
Yeah, it's 3.
And it's literally 3 scratches. 2 long ones and a short one.
Vivid dreams involving attack, paralysis, or shadow entities are sometimes interpreted as spiritual oppression, especially when they are accompanied by physical sensations. To make matters worse, he began waking up with unexplained marks on his body, and this made many people believe whatever is in that house is after him. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next video, a man is simply filming an update for his followers. He explains that he's recently been uploading more political clips instead of his usual original content because he lost hours at his job and is currently searching for a new one. According to him, political topics are easier to gain traction with, and right now, views matter. While he was filming, this happened. Watch closely.
Alright guys, I'm gonna try and make this one quick. This is just kind of update video. People have been wondering why I've been uploading so many news clips, so many political videos, and why I haven't been uploading any original content lately. As you should know, the American election just happened, and I was getting kind of one video. If you follow my channel, you would know it has 28,000 views. And I tried essentially recreating that, getting a lot of views, through those political videos. Unsuccessfully, might I add. Basically, what I'm getting at is, in order to fill in the lack of original videos, I've been doing these political clip videos. And the reasoning behind that is because here at home, things are a little difficult. I didn't lose my job, but I lost a lot of hours. And I'm looking for new employment, which is inhibiting me from creating new content. Makes it a lot easier for me if I can just, find a video clip of some politician or some news anchor saying something really stupid and get some views from that, than it is. It's easier for me to get views from that than it is, new content at the moment. So, just what I'm saying is bear with me. Yeah. It was weird. Got that on tape. Yeah, that. I know you guys aren't gonna believe that really just happened, but as you can see, there's no one in the room with me here. I've kind of chose this room because it was the only room in my house without someone in here. Yeah, that was guys. This isn't. It's a string, right? But that's just kind of an Ethernet cable. You could, Hey guys, that was pretty weird.
People often claim that activity can begin subtly, small disturbances, objects shifting, electronics malfunctioning, before escalating into something more noticeable. There's also the psychological layer. He mentions stress about work, finances, and change. And in certain beliefs, heightened emotional states are said to amplify unexplained phenomena, as if strong energy draws attention from something unseen. We can only hope this was a one-off situation, and not the beginning of something deciding to make itself known. In the following clip, a group of paranormal investigators acquire 2 dolls from separate owners who both claimed the objects were responsible for disturbing activity inside their homes. According to the previous owners, one of the dolls had been linked to persistent knocking sounds that seemed to follow it from room to room. Lights would flicker whenever it was moved, and one family claimed they repeatedly found it repositioned in places they were certain they hadn't left it. The second doll, the one dressed in a red cloth, was reportedly associated with whispering sounds at night and sudden cold spots that formed specifically around the shelf where it sat. One owner even said her child refused to sleep in the same room with it after insisting the doll blinked. Rather than destroy them, the investigators decided to document everything carefully. They placed both dolls on a table in a controlled setting and began a spirit box session, asking direct questions to see if any responses would come through. That's when something happened. Watch.
Light it back up to red. Look. No! Bring that camera over here!
Oh God, he moved!
Still moving. Did you catch it moving?
I think I did, I don't know, I tried to run.
Again. Look, you see it move? I caught it moving. Yeah.
If you look closely at the doll with the red cloth, its head appears to shift slightly to the side. It is believed that objects that have been repeatedly associated with fear, attention, and belief can sometimes become what investigators call trigger objects, meaning they act as focal points for activity because of the emotional energy surrounding them. The red cloth itself also caught viewers' attention. In certain folklore traditions, red fabric is believed to either attract or contain spiritual energy, depending on how it's used. If the doll did move on its own, then the implication is clear. Whatever the previous owners were experiencing may not have been imagination. So if something truly is attached to it, then is bringing it into a new environment going to quiet it, or will it simply give it a new audience? Now in this next video, a man named Chris and his wife decided to install security cameras throughout their home after weeks of increasingly strange activity that neither of them could logically explain. It started subtly, small things out of place, the dog staring into corners of the room and growling at nothing visible, footsteps echoing faintly down the hallway after midnight. A few times, they heard what sounded like someone shifting their weight in the living room while they were upstairs. Once, Chris swears he heard a sigh directly behind him when no one was there. Eventually, they stopped brushing it off and installed cameras to see whether the disturbances had a visible source. One night, Chris was sitting in the living room with the dogs resting nearby when something happened that changed how he viewed the house entirely. Watch. In the footage, a chair begins to tilt backward as if someone were physically leaning into it, applying steady pressure with their weight. What makes it more unsettling is the dog's reaction and how they immediately become alert. And then there's the earlier activity, the footsteps, the sigh, the dog's reacting to empty space. When you layer those experiences together, the chair becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence. If someone unseen truly leaned back into that chair, then the implication is chilling. Chris may not have been alone in that living room, but until more updates are shared, this remains a mystery. The following video was recorded back in 2019 by a man's mother after days of insisting that something was inside her house, something she didn't understand, and something her son refused to believe. She kept telling him there was a demon in the house. He brushed it off, told her she was overreacting, that it was all in her head. So that night, when she started hearing noises coming from the kitchen again, she decided to record it. Not because she was sure of what she'd find, but because she wanted proof. Something she could send him, something he couldn't explain away. Watch closely.
In 2019, my mom said she was fighting demons in her apartment. I didn't believe her. She sent me video proof. Now someone tell me what in the grudge shit was going on here. I put picture at end of video, pause it, turn phone upside down and zoom in.
In the top right corner, something appears. It doesn't step out. It doesn't fully reveal itself. It just peeks, a head-like shape, barely visible, emerging for a moment and then pulling back like it knows it's being watched. 1 second it's there, the next, it's gone. Some people believe this is exactly how certain entities operate, especially ones described as demonic, never fully revealing themselves at first, but lingering at the edges, observing, waiting, slowly making their presence known in small, controlled ways. But till this day, what his mother saw that night, whatever kept drawing her attention back to that same part of the kitchen, remains a mystery. But what do you think? In this next video, a woman named Victoria goes down to her basement to check the breaker. A simple task that shouldn't feel out of the ordinary, but in her case, the basement had already started to feel like a place she avoided whenever she could. For weeks leading up to this moment, she had been experiencing something she couldn't fully explain, faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, quiet enough to second guess, yet clear enough to make her stop what she was doing and listen. sometimes sounding like someone trying to speak just out of reach, other times resembling her name being called in a low, almost careful tone. She tried to ignore it, convincing herself it was just the silence playing tricks on her, but deep down, it never really felt that simple. Then one night, she heads down to the basement again. Watch. Out of the silence, a voice says, "Hey," not distorted, not distant, but direct, like it came from right there with her. Some viewers believe moments like this suggest an intelligent presence, something that doesn't just exist in the space, but interacts with it, choosing when to reveal itself and how, starting with whispers before becoming more direct, almost as if it's testing how far it can go. Others warn that voices like this, especially when they sound calm and intentional, can be far more unsettling than loud or chaotic disturbances, because they feel closer, more personal, and harder to dismiss. Now this next video follows a man named Nate, whose experiences seem to trace back to something he unknowingly brought home after working at a cemetery, a place already tied to death, memory, and in some beliefs, lingering presence. Since then, things haven't been normal for him. He's reported waking up with unexplained marks on his body, scratches that appear overnight with no clear cause, and there have been moments where objects in his home, including knives, have been thrown or displaced in ways that feel far too deliberate to ignore, suggesting that whatever is happening isn't just passive, but capable of interacting with its surroundings. Then one morning, he captures this on camera. Watch.
So I was just in the shower, and as I was getting out of the shower and drying off, I heard something or someone run down the stairs. I thought maybe it was a dog, but she is sound asleep on the bed. So that tells me it wasn't her, and it also tells me that she didn't even hear it. So something ran down the stairs. Then I didn't hear anything after that. The front door camera didn't go off, so nobody left. And I checked the back door. Back door's locked. Both locks. Hello? Not sure what the fuck that was. This activity has really been ramping up these past few days. And it's honestly been a little unsettling, but both
After he says hello, a faint response can be heard, almost like something is answering him, acknowledging his presence in a way that feels intentional rather than coincidental. What makes this even more unsettling is the pattern he's noticed, because most of the activity seems to center around specific areas of the house, particularly the kitchen and the basement. On another day, after hearing strange noises coming from the kitchen, he decides to check it out, expecting to find something ordinary. Instead, he sees this. Watch.
something was banging here in the kitchen. It sounded like something hit the wall or something hit the floor. I heard something.
course, it's empty. Back door is locked, top and bottom. What the That's up there. I wonder if that's what I heard. What is with the knives and the scissors and the sharp objects? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Considering everything Nate has already experienced, the marks, the thrown objects, the voice responding, this moment feels less like an isolated incident and more like a continuation of something that has been building over time, something that is becoming more comfortable, more visible, and possibly more direct in how it makes itself known. And when something answers you, moves things, and leaves marks behind, it raises a much heavier question, not just about what it is, but about how long it has been there and how much further it might go. The following video was recorded inside a gym, a place that's supposed to be full of movement, noise, and activity, but according to Danny, who works there, some of the things he's been experiencing happen when the gym is completely empty, when everything should be still. He's talked about hearing sudden door slams echo through the building, the metallic clanging of bars and dumbbells shifting without anyone nearby, footsteps moving across the stairs, as if someone is going up and down between floors, and even treadmills that seem to start or react on their own, as though something unseen is interacting with the equipment. One night, while staying back to finish some work, something happens. Watch.
Ok, vuelvo a grabar. Ahorita si se dan cuenta las luces ya están apagadas. Vuelvo a grabar porque esto pasa mal. ¿Viste? O sea, mira, vamos a pensar. Son 10:35. Ahorita ya no debe de haber nadie. No voy a poner ni pausa ni nada. Ajá. Tú lo escuchaste. Yo lo escuché. Tú lo... O sea, veamos. Esa fue una, ¿no? La otra. Tú escuchaste las subidas de escaleras. Como si corrieran. No voy a poner pausa porque la neta... me llaman loco, me dicen es el aire, me dicen son tus energías, me dicen madre y media, pero mira, no estoy loco, no estoy loco, está cerrado. Está cerrado, digo, si lo fuerzo no quiero romperlo, pero... No mames. Y si se escucha la música, sí, porque yo no tengo control de la música. Llamarte. Ok. La verdad es que estoy muy nervioso, ¿no? O sea, se me pone la piel chinita. No sé si es mi subconsciente o no, pero yo ya lo estoy sintiendo así como lo escucho. Bueno, no lo escucho, lo siento, ¿no? Es como... No, o sea... Mi madre. Me dicen en los comentarios, ignóralo, ¿no? Ignóralo y bueno, vamos a tratar de... de su puta madre. Ay, no, ya.
The heavy punching bags moving, the footsteps, the music, and walking past certain areas only to find equipment positioned in a way that suggests someone had just been using it, even though no one else was there. On another day, while talking about his experiences, he recalls seeing something that made him stop in his tracks. Watch.
Esto lo voy a grabar porque literalmente son cosas que solamente, bueno, no me pueden pasar únicamente a mí, y agradezco no ser el único porque la verdad que poca madre, pero esta es mi área de trabajo. Y ese es el gimnasio. Está cerrado con llave, o sea, como puedes ver está cerrado con llave, y justo de aquel lado, justo allá, por ahí, se escuchó que algo se movió. O sea, las barras olímpicas se escuchó como las volvieron a poner ahí en su lugar, porque cuando las ponen en su lugar tiene un sonido muy específico, y justamente ahí, lo voy a poner ahí, esa banca de ahí, cuando yo estoy desde mi escritorio, se alcanza a ver, y literalmente se vio como alguien se asomó como hacia acá y se volvió a meter, se escondió. Se empezaron a escuchar ruidos, ahorita está la música y tal vez este video tenga copyright, pero se alcanzó a escuchar el sonido y... ¡ay, puta madre! Ahí está, ahí está, ahí está. No, man.
For a brief moment, something appears to peek out from one of the rooms, not fully stepping into view, but enough to suggest presence, enough to make it clear that whatever he saw wasn't just a trick of the light. After sharing these clips, viewers who recognized the gym began coming forward with their own experiences, mentioning times they felt watched while working out alone, moments where they heard unexplained noises but chose to ignore them, and even instances where they noticed movement in mirrors or reflections that didn't quite match what was happening around them. When multiple accounts begin to align like this, across different people and different times, it starts to build a pattern that feels harder to dismiss as coincidence. Now, this strange video was posted on December 27th, 2025, by a veterinary hospital in Madison, Alabama. But what makes it even more unsettling is that the footage itself had reportedly been kept private for nearly 4 years. According to the clinic's owner, Rene, something happened that night that caused all employees on shift to stop what they were doing. Have a look.
That's weird. Where is that coming from? It don't sound like it's coming from. Okay, so you still want to do banana bag, 15 mils an hour, head of starch, 4 mils an hour. It's coming from over this way. Alright. Medication, metronidazole, 15 mils BID, ideal. Wait, is it Scarlet? Clipped off. Wait. I clipped it off before doing meds. Is my drop off up there? What's coming from up there? They may have done that when they switched the bag. Is it the new bag through? No. Alright, who's making that noise? What's in the lobby? It's coming from the lobby. No, it's not. Where is that? It's not in here. What is that? What, phantom dolls? That's fucking weird. Is it Charles? You heard that, right? We all heard that. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. What did you hear? A dog keeps yapping. Is it Dakota? No. Look at this. Over here. Look at the front porch to make sure they didn't dump one or throw one in the pen outside or something. I didn't hear anything. You're not hearing that. 3 of us heard it. I didn't hear it, no. You heard it, right? I heard it. I didn't hear it. It sounds like it's coming from this side. You can't hear it at ISA though, right? No. Look at that fence out there. It makes you swear that wouldn't have been. I heard nothing. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, that's a brand new thing. That's fucking bizarre. Yeah. That's I haven't heard it. I still haven't heard it. All 3 of us heard it. And it was coming from that. It sounded like it was in that room or something. Like it sounded like it was like right 3 or 4. We're gonna play that back. I didn't even hear anything. Can you play it like specifically in those rooms or anything?
After reviewing the footage, Renee says there was no logical explanation for what they witnessed, and this wasn't an isolated event. Over time, strange activity became almost routine inside the clinic. Dog kennels, securely latched, would open on their own in the middle of the night. Office supplies and lightweight equipment were found scattered across rooms that had been locked. Staff members reported hearing scratching sounds coming from empty runs long after the last patient had gone home. Sometimes, motion sensors would trigger in rooms where no animal was being treated. For a veterinary hospital, that detail hits differently, because this isn't just any building, it's a place filled with heightened emotion, fear, grief, relief, heartbreak. It's where some families say goodbye to beloved pets, and many pet owners will tell you that after their animal passes, they still hear the faint scratch at the door, still feel the weight at the foot of the bed, still think they see a quick shadow dart past in the hallway. Some believe animals, especially loyal ones, linger. And that's the theory whispered among staff, that perhaps some of the dogs who passed away in that clinic never fully left, that the scratching isn't imagination, and that the kennel's opening isn't mechanical failure. So what do you think? Is it residual energy, emotional imprints replaying themselves, or something else using the setting to its advantage? Renee says she doesn't know what's in her clinic, but she's no longer convinced it's empty after closing time. The following video was captured by a security camera inside a house where the owner has already had his fairer share of terrifying experiences. The kind that don't just happen once and stop, but repeat in different forms over time, slowly turning his home into a place he no longer feels completely safe in. He's reported hearing footsteps moving through empty rooms, objects shifting when no one is around, and moments where it feels like someone is watching him from just out of sight. At a point, the activity became intense enough that he decided to take action, bringing in crosses and placing them around the house, along with performing a few protection rituals in hopes of restoring some sense of peace. For a while, it seemed like it might have worked, but then this happened. One night, he hears what sounds like someone moving inside his house. Not subtle noises, but clear movement, enough to make him get up, check every room, and do a full sweep of the place. But he found nothing, so he went back to bed. But the camera captured something else entirely. Watch. If you focus on the table area, something suddenly appears, a white figure moving fast. After seeing the footage, he shared it with several of his friends, and most of them came to the same conclusion, that considering everything he had already experienced, this could be the clearest indication yet that whatever is in his house hasn't left and may not have been affected by the measures he took at all. And that raises an even more unsettling thought, because if protective steps like that didn't stop it, then whatever he's dealing with might not be something that's easily removed, or something that intends to leave. No further updates have been shared since then, leaving this incident without closure and whatever was captured on that camera still without a clear explanation. But what do you think the camera captured that night? Within the Jefferson Hotel, reports of paranormal activity have been piling up for years, but one incident in particular pushed things into genuinely unsettling territory. A guest staying in room 117 reportedly checked out in a panic after an encounter they said happened in the bathroom late at night. According to staff, the guest had been taking a bath when the room filled with steam, and words slowly began to appear on the mirror, as if written by an unseen hand. The message read, "You should leave." Thinking it was some kind of prank or condensation trick, they wiped the mirror clean. Moments later, as the steam built up again, a new message appeared, this time far more direct, telling them to get out. The guest immediately fled the room, leaving their belongings behind, and even losing the bathroom key in the process. Hotel staff later entered the room to investigate and document what had happened.
But we took some pictures. I'll show you the pictures real quick. These pictures were a little eerie. You can see right here is the get out. And we took a series of pictures. Well, in all these pictures, there's only 2 people with the exception of this one. See right there, there's a third face, and there should only be 2 because all the pictures only showed 2 people in there. So whoever this third face is, we don't know. It was kind of weird, but we did go in there this morning to try to fog it up again, and it didn't happen. So I'm not sure, how long the prank lasts. Or if it was even a prank.
They show the photographs taken that night, capturing the messages as they appeared on the fogged mirror. What stands out is how unnatural the writing looks, uneven, distorted, and nothing like handwriting formed by a finger. In one of the images, viewers later noticed something even more disturbing. Faintly visible in the reflection is what appears to be a third face, semi-transparent, and not belonging to anyone who was supposed to be in the room at the time. Staff attempted to recreate the conditions by fogging up the bathroom again, and once more, the same message appeared on the glass without anyone touching it. After that, room 117 was quietly taken out of rotation for a period of time, and the hotel has never offered a clear explanation for what was captured there. In the following video, Ragalzu was working a night shift when the building was completely empty, and after hearing strange noises echoing through the halls, he decided to start filming to protect himself more than anything else. The place was dark, quiet, and lit only by his phone and a small flashlight, which made every sound feel amplified.
Mira, ahí pasó. Díganme que lo vieron. Se lo vio clarito. Mira, ahí pasó. Mira. Se lo vio clarito. Y pasó por el medio del patio. ¿Qué les dije? Mira. Negrito para acá fue. Para ahí. ¿Ven? Pasó por ahí, agachadito, corriendo por aquí. Desenfocó, ¿eh? Está al frente de ustedes, gente. Todas las cosas siempre más, digamos, turbias y fuertes. Me movieron un muñeco, movieron una silla, me golpeaban la campana, hacían un montón de quilombo y ahora cierran la puerta. Y bueno, pero yo dije que antes de irme voy a limpiar el lugar, que ninguna entidad tiene que permanecer aquí, ninguna entidad tiene que seguir en este lugar, porque van a venir niños. Van a venir niños y no tienen que seguir aquí. Me atravesó otra vez. Dios mío, me dejó encerrado. Ahora sí me dejó encerrado. ¿Ahora lo hace con esta también? Es un colegio. Sí, mira. Mira, no. ¿Ves? Él la cerró. Es más, hace rato, pero sí estoy en Santiago, hace rato se vio literalmente un duende cruzar, o sea, la figura de un niño cruzando por detrás mío. Uy, escucha. Está golpeando. Ahí la abrió. Ok. Vine por acá. Me dejó de golpear. Linda la noche en la escuela, ¿eh? Ahí está volviendo la puerta. No tiene luz, pero habría que pasar un proceso para poder trascender y ¿A dónde Mautrix, Gamin, dónde dice que se verían cosas locas? En el hospital me trabajo toda la noche. Estuve el sábado en un hospital abandonado. Y también logré captar una entidad bastante oscura. Yo esta puerta la voy a cerrar ya mejor.
As he walks forward, the camera catches what looks like movement behind a closed door ahead of him, a dark, human-shaped object. passing across it for just a second, like someone walking by on the other side. Ragalzu immediately panics and runs straight toward the door, shining his flashlight through the glass and then outside once he opens it. There's nothing there. No footsteps, no shadows, no place for anyone to hide. The area beyond the door is completely empty, and security later confirmed no one else was on site at the time. Whatever moved past that door was there only long enough to be seen, then vanished the moment he tried to confront it. A haunted foodie YouTuber was exploring an abandoned mental asylum, expecting nothing more than a quiet, eerie location for a casual exploration video. The building had been left to rot, with peeling paint, debris scattered across the floor, and long ward corridors filled with old hospital rooms. She films herself walking through one of the messiest sections, opening doors, and looking around while talking calmly to the camera. Her husband can be seen further down the corridor at one point, also looking around, making it clear they weren't alone in the building, but still very much alone in terms of other people.
I think this is the ward, actually. Oh my god, that's really, really new looking. Oh, it does smell like a hospital jar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, look. It does actually smell like a hospital. This seems a lot newer than the rest of the building. Whoa. Toilets in here. All the sinks are broken. Yet again, like I like to say in all of my abandoned. What's that? Whoa. They like pink tiles, don't they? What's in our room? There's another room in here. Shower. I don't like looking behind shower curtains. That just creeps me right out. The bathroom again there. That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this part, definitely.
As she pans the camera from a blank wall back toward the corridor, something unsettling happens without her noticing. At the far end of the hallway, a tall, dark figure is briefly visible standing near a doorway. Within a split second, it appears to react to the camera and slips behind the door, completely vanishing from view. The movement is quick but unmistakable when slowed down. She continues filming, unaware anything happened, and only realizes later when reviewing the footage. After spotting it, she shared the clip online, admitting that she had no explanation for who or what that figure could have been, especially since no one else was supposed to be anywhere near that part of the asylum. After watching this next clip, you'll definitely want a dash cam on your car. The footage comes from a vehicle driving along a highway, with the road ahead completely clear at first. It's late, visibility isn't great, and everything feels normal until something suddenly appears directly in the lane.
There it goes. Just record.
A small, transparent figure that looks disturbingly like a child is standing in the middle of the road. The driver slows down instinctively, clearly panicking, but there's nowhere to swerve in time. The car passes straight through where the figure is standing, yet there's no impact, no sound, nothing in the mirrors afterward. The road behind them is empty. When the footage is slowed down, the figure doesn't react at all. It doesn't move, flinch, or turn its head. It just stays there as the car goes through it. Many people who've seen the clip believe it's the ghost of a child tied to that stretch of highway, while others can't explain how something so clear left absolutely no trace. Either way, it's the kind of footage that makes night driving feel a lot less routine and more abnormal. A cemetery security guard captured this unsettling footage while on patrol late at night with a co-worker, both of them filming because of repeated reports in the area.
I've been recording the whole time. Yo, me and Eon seen this bitch walking through the cemetery. Blowing it, running through the cemetery and landed on a tombstone.
Yeah, she was blowing it. She landed on a tombstone. She was blowing it. Hey, what you doing, girl?
Yo, that shit is creepy as...
What the f***?
What happened?
What the f*** you doing?
Why she touching other people's graves?
Yo, she just bust her head on the other grave, though.
Did she?
She got on no shoes, bro.
What she just grabbed?
A flower. She just grabbed a flower. She got on no shoes.
Yo, Boogie, we watching a ghost. She... Yo, don't say nothing to her. Don't say nothing to her. I'm scared as shit, because what if she... Nigga, she knows where you live, nigga. Live across the street from the cemetery.
I'll shoot that bitch. Shoot that bitch.
Nigga, this bitch is crazy.
Yo, the fuck?
Yo, what the f...
Yo, I see. Yo, where the blunt at? Pass the blunt. Pass the blunt. I cannot. Nah. She was blowing it. Did you see how she tripped over that tombstone?
She landed on a tombstone.
On her head. And she planned this. Yo!
There's no way in fuck she planned this, Boogie.
Yo!
She ain't answering nobody. She ain't look at us.
Yo, girl, the whole way!
Yo, girl, the whole way.
You scaring me! You really scaring me! You scaring the shit out of me! Yo! You scaring the shit out of me! Go home! Go home!
Yo, Boogie, she gonna come back and she gonna be sitting right in front of your house, nigga. And I'm gonna pop that bitch.
Her ass.
Yo, she ran through the cemetery and was walking.
Yo, I wish I still had that BB.
Yo, you gotta let her go. Maybe she's like hurting or something.
Why was she running that fast though?
But why she just stopped and take someone else? She took someone else's flower, nigga, from there.
Look, she's swinging it. She's having fun, B. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go karate kick this bitch.
Yo, this is the creepiest shit that I've ever seen in my life.
My nigga, yo, bitches had a picnic in there the other day.
A picnic, nigga. She has on all white and she's running and jumping on people's tombstones. Yo, you crazy bitch!
You the crazy bitch!
Nigga, she's jumping on people's tombstones.
What? Oh my God.
She's spinning this shit? Nah.
World Star.
World Star. Where'd she go?
World Star.
Where'd she go?
She disappeared.
She disappeared.
In the distance, a young girl dressed entirely in white can be seen standing among the gravestones, her head tilted downward as if she's focused on something only she can see. The guards call out to her repeatedly, asking if she's lost or needs help, but she never responds, never even looks in their direction. Instead, she slowly walks between the graves, trailing her fingers across the tops of the headstones in a way that feels disturbingly deliberate. At one point, she bends down and takes a flower from a grave, holding it loosely before wandering further into the cemetery. The guards shout again, telling her to stop, but she ignores them completely and even takes another flower as if their presence means nothing to her. Then, without warning, she steps behind a large tombstone and vanishes. When the guards rush over to check after the footage ends, there's nobody there at all. No footsteps, no place she could have gone, just the cold silence of the cemetery. To this day, they have no explanation for who she was or where she disappeared to. Ricky is a well-known ghost hunter who's been investigating the same abandoned establishment for a long time, convinced that whatever is there hasn't left yet. In this clip, he's outside the building late at night, filming himself in a casual vlog style as he stands in silence. The area around him looks empty and quiet, with nothing but fencing and darkness behind him.
Hey!
As he continues talking, something strange happens in the background. Behind Ricky, beyond the fence, a tall, dark black figure suddenly walks across the frame. It's not a shadow from him or the camera. It moves independently, passing through the background like a person calmly walking by. Ricky doesn't notice it at first, but viewers immediately point it out. A second later, he seems to sense something is wrong and spins around, spotting movement out of the corner of his eye. He breaks into a run toward the fence, shining his light and calling out, but when he reaches the exact spot where the figure was, there's nothing there at all. No person, no animal, no place for someone to hide. After reviewing the footage later, Ricky admits that this is one of the clearest things he's ever caught at that location, and it's only reinforced his belief that something is still roaming that property, watching him every time he visits. Someone named Tom was lying in bed late at night when he started hearing strange noises coming from his kitchen. The kind that are just loud enough to stop you from sleeping but not clear enough to explain. Uneasy, he grabbed his phone and began recording, aiming the camera toward the doorway that led out of his bedroom.
What the f...
For a while, nothing happens at all. The doorway stays dark and still, and the apartment feels empty, almost quiet enough to convince you it was all in his head. But then, slowly, something begins to appear. A circular black shape peeks out from the edge of the doorway, just enough to be noticeable, like a head cautiously leaning into view. It lingers there for a moment, completely silent, before slowly retreating back out of sight. The movement is deliberate, not fast or startled, almost like whatever it was knew it was being watched. Tom doesn't step closer or call out. He just keeps filming, breathing heavier as the doorway goes still again. Nothing else appears after that, but the way the shape emerged and hid makes the clip incredibly unsettling, leaving the impression that something was standing in his kitchen, watching him from the dark. A few days later, the activity hadn't stopped. In fact, it seemed bolder. Tom finds himself back in the exact same spot, standing this time, after hearing the familiar noises coming from the kitchen again. His voice sounds steadier, but there's tension in every word as he starts recording.
What the f... Who is out? Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, what the Hello, who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the Please stop, please stop. This is my house. Leave, this is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness.
As he slowly approaches the doorway, a loud clatter suddenly rings out from inside the kitchen, the unmistakable sound of something metallic hitting the floor, like cutlery being thrown from a counter. Almost immediately after, cabinet doors begin opening and slamming shut one after another, hard enough to echo through the apartment. Tom raises his voice now, telling whatever is in there to leave, to stop, to get out of his house. He sounds firm, almost authoritative, like he's trying to take control of the situation, but it doesn't work. The noises continue without hesitation, cabinets still moving as if his commands mean nothing at all. He backs away slightly, breathing faster, realizing that whatever was peeking at him days earlier wasn't intimidated. If anything, it sounded like it was responding by getting louder. Tom later said this was the moment he truly understood he wasn't alone in that apartment, and whatever was in his kitchen had no intention of leaving just because he asked. This next video was recorded by Josh, another paranormal investigator, and his team, who spent 2 nights investigating the childhood church of Jim Jones in Lynn, a quiet town that still carries the weight of a dark and disturbing legacy. Long before he became the infamous leader of the People's Temple, Jim Jones attended this very church as a boy, walking its halls, sitting in its pews, and developing the beliefs that would later influence one of the most tragic cult events in history. What makes this location especially unsettling is the idea that everything started here. The team, consisting of 3 brothers, Josh, Rocky, and Sean, entered the church hoping to understand why it is considered haunted and whether something connected to Jim Jones still lingered there.
Coffin. Where's the coffin at? Dude, when you look out to the darkness, you just picture, it feels like 100 people out in the darkness just staring at you. It is so freaking cold down here. Who is the man that stays down here?
Slam.
Slam. I dare you to slam something.
Why?
Because I want to hear you. If you do loud stuff, that lets me know you're in
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Are you stuck in purgatory? You remember Jim Jones being here at this church?
Do not.
You don't? We know Jim Jones came here for many years as a child, and then he moved on and became a reverend at different churches. And then they did some very bad things.
Jim.
Whoa! Holy. Okay, that was loud. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna move back here. Something so freaking loud.
As they moved deeper into the church, with over 1,000 people watching the investigation live, something was caught on camera. Watch.
I feel like if we're gonna catch something, it's gonna be in the basement.
Well, I think we need to go up to the attic. Or it'd be better if I just filmed the screen. Like if they're just watching the screen, that I won't need this light on. What do you think?
Within seconds, viewers watching the live stream began flooding the chat with warnings, pointing out a strange figure that appeared in the stairwell. What makes this moment so disturbing is that in earlier footage, the stairwell was completely empty. Nothing was there that could explain the sudden appearance of this figure. So is it possible that something connected to Jim Jones still exists there? Some paranormal researchers believe that spirits are often drawn to places that shaped them the most, locations tied to their identity, their emotions, and their transformation. This church wasn't just a random building in his life. It was where his path began, where his beliefs were formed, and where he first began developing the influence he would later have over so many people. For now, this remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, some explorers decided to investigate an abandoned military hangar that had been active from World War II all the way through the 1990s, a place that once held aircraft, personnel, and decades of military operations, but had since been left to decay in silence. Buildings like this often carry layers of history, and while they expected to find dust, rust, and forgotten equipment, they did not expect to find something watching them. From the moment they stepped inside, they began hearing strange noises echoing through the massive, empty structure. At first, they tried to rationalize it, blaming it on the wind forcing its way through broken panels or loose metal shifting under its own weight. Then, this happened. Watch.
Shit, man. How did it even get through here? Look at this fucking. Holy shit, bro. There's no way. Whatever that. Listen. That's just thunder. That thunderbolt. What was that? There's no way I can't make it. There's no.
In the footage, a strange figure can be seen watching them from a distance. But when they reached the exact spot where the figure had been standing, there was nothing. No person, no animal, and no place for someone to hide or escape in that short amount of time. Some believe this could be what investigators call a shadow person, entities often reported in abandoned locations, especially places tied to intense emotional energy, trauma, or prolonged human activity. Others believe this could have been the spirit of someone who once worked there, possibly a soldier or personnel who spent years inside those walls, whose presence never truly left, continuing to patrol the same grounds long after the base was abandoned. The way this figure remained at a distance, concealed in shadow, and vanished the moment they approached, makes some wonder if they were being watched the entire time. In the following video, a man shares the unusual and deeply unsettling thing that's been happening inside his apartment. Something he had tried to explain to friends and family for months, but no one truly believed him. According to him, the activity didn't start immediately after he moved in. At first, the apartment felt normal, quiet, uneventful, but that slowly began to change after he learned something disturbing about the person who had lived there before him. He was told that the previous tenant had lived alone for many years, rarely had visitors, and eventually passed away inside the apartment. The details were unclear, but neighbors said it took days before anyone realized he was gone, and ever since then, some residents claimed the apartment never felt the same. At the time, he didn't think much of it, until small things started happening. Coins he clearly remembered placing in one spot would appear somewhere else. Jars would slightly shift positions, and sometimes he would hear faint metallic tapping sounds late at night, like something lightly striking glass. When he told people, they called him crazy, So one day, he decided to set up his camera, hoping to finally prove that something was happening. Watch.
Hey guys, this coin, amazing. People aren't believing what's happening in this house. I've left this all night and all I've heard is it rattling inside. Now, I want you to witness what I'm going through here because maybe if you just see for yourself, innit? This is what I'm dealing with. Are you angry because you're dead? What are you angry about? Is that it? Why are you with me? Why are you around me? What do you want? Knock the glass over. Is that it? I'm doing it all night, come on. Take a break. What do you want? Guys, are you seeing it? Whoa. How is that possible? Come on, it's in a jar. At least they didn't lie to me. Cheers for that. Thank you. I am shit.
Some believe this could be the former tenant attempting to communicate, using the coin as a way to show his presence, especially since spirits are often said to manipulate small objects that require less energy. Coins, in particular, are commonly reported in paranormal encounters, sometimes seen as a symbolic attempt to get attention, almost like knocking, but in a way that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. Others believe it could be something more territorial, something that does not recognize the man as the rightful occupant. If the previous tenant spent years living there alone, forming a deep attachment to the space, some theories suggest his spirit may still see the apartment as his, reacting with agitation to the presence of someone new. But there is an even darker possibility. Paranormal researchers warn that entities capable of moving objects with that level of force may not be harmless at all. What begins with small manipulations, coins, jars, subtle disturbances can sometimes escalate, becoming more aggressive over time, especially if whatever is present grows stronger or more aware of the person living there. The violent nature of the coin's movement, the persistence, the intensity, makes some wonder if this wasn't simply an attempt to communicate, but a warning. Until more updates are shared, this unsettling case remains unsolved. This next video was recorded just a few days after Christmas, a time usually filled with warmth, celebration, and families enjoying the quiet calm that follows the holidays. On this particular day, the parents were out, leaving the kids home alone, something they were already used to. The house was peaceful, quiet in the way it normally is after the excitement of Christmas morning has passed. wrapping papers cleared away, decorations still hanging, and new gifts settling into their places around the home. But at some point, the eldest son began hearing a strange sound coming from the kitchen. Confused and uneasy, he walked toward the kitchen to see what was causing it, and what he found made him immediately call his siblings to come and look. Watch.
Alright, you guys gotta see this cabinet. It's been moving, and oh my, you see? It's been moving open and shut by itself for 30 minutes now.
Holy shit, do you see that?
Dude, see, that's tripped out, man. I don't even know if I want to stay the night here tonight. Hey, Marco, I don't think I'm staying the night, dog.
And I don't think I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna stay up until that stops.
No visible cause, and no draft strong enough to explain that kind of repeated movement. What makes this even more unsettling is that, according to the family, they had never experienced anything strange in the house before this day, which is why many people immediately connected this incident to the timing, the Christmas season itself. Across many cultures and paranormal beliefs, the holiday season is thought to be a time when the boundary between the living and the dead becomes thinner, a time filled with emotional energy, memory, tradition, and reflection. Some believe this energy can attract spirits, especially those connected to family, longing, or unfinished presents. Others say spirits may be drawn to homes during this season simply because of the warmth, the light, and the life inside. But it's also possible that something was unknowingly brought into the home during the holidays, like an old gift, a second-hand decoration, or an antique item. Objects can sometimes carry attachments, especially items with unknown histories. Something as simple as a thrifted ornament, an old toy, or even furniture could potentially bring more than memories with it. But what do you think? Now, this next clip was captured around 3 a.m., a time long associated with unexplained activity, when a man suddenly woke up after hearing strange noises coming from outside his home. At first, the sounds were faint and unclear, like distant movement or low murmuring that didn't belong to anything familiar. Still half asleep, but deeply unsettled, he turned his attention toward the window, trying to figure out what could possibly be making those sounds at that hour. But when he looked outside, it wasn't just the noises that caught his attention. He saw something else. Watch closely.
Estoy escuchando ruidos afuera. Son 3:30 de la mañana. Voy a no sé si sale. Ahí está, hija de puta, de vuelta. Es ella. Yo no te voy a tener miedo. Hoy no te tengo miedo. No tengo miedo. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. ¿Dónde estás?
A figure in white passes directly by his window. Whether this was a real person or something else entirely, both possibilities are deeply unsettling. Because if it was a person, that raises even more disturbing questions. Why would someone be silently walking around his property at 3 a.m.? Why dressed in white? And why disappear so quickly without leaving any trace? But what makes this encounter even more disturbing is that this wasn't the first time. According to him, there had been other nights when he saw figures outside, sometimes dressed in black, appearing briefly and then vanishing. And on certain occasions, the entire neighborhood would erupt with the sound of dogs barking all at once, as if reacting to something moving among them that humans couldn't fully see. Interestingly, there were also nights when the dogs didn't bark at all. So until more footage emerges, this disturbing encounter remains a mystery. In the following video is about a man named Aaron, whose life changed after he received terrible news from the police about the neighbor living directly beneath him. And if you've been following Aaron's story, you already know his apartment hasn't felt normal for a very long time. In the previous videos we shared, he attempted a spiritual cleansing ritual that ended badly, and many people questioned whether he had done it correctly, which is why this time he decided to try again, hoping to finally free his home from whatever seemed to be lingering there. For those unfamiliar with Aaron's story, everything began with a smell. For weeks he complained about a foul stench rising through his apartment floors, a thick, sickening odor that no amount of cleaning, ventilation, or searching could explain. And eventually, the horrifying truth was revealed. His neighbor had passed away inside his apartment, and his body had remained there undiscovered for weeks. By the time authorities found him, the damage had already been done. The hallway was sanitized, the apartment sealed, and on the surface, everything appeared resolved. But inside Aaron's apartment, things only got worse. Desperate for peace, Aaron decided to perform another cleansing ritual. Watch.
I'll be doing the red dragon blood sage to help me get rid of the spirit I have here. But first, I'm going to be placing this egg here in the center of the room. I'll place it right there. Come back. Okay. Here we go. So if there's a demon in here, you are not welcome. You have to leave. You're not welcome. Still smoking. It's barely lit. You know, people don't think that you're real. People actually think that you don't exist, but I want to show them. So show yourself. Don't be scared. Just show yourself. Come out. Okay. Something's definitely showing itself. But it's okay because I got the sage on this. It's barely lit, but it's okay. It's still lit. I'm okay. I'm kind of scared to go around this corner. See. Here we go. Okay. I'm actually gonna turn on this light. Right now, I kind of don't want to turn around. Okay. Well, if you're here, you have to leave. Or do something to this egg. Do something to this egg. Move it. Maybe it left out the window or something. Okay, let's go do the egg so I can leave my apartment. Okay, here's the egg. Nothing wrong with the egg, see? It's regular. First off, let me show you my hand. There's nothing on my hand. I want to get out of here. Okay, here you go. And again, I don't know why.
According to Aaron, instead of things improving, the sage seemed to make the activity worse, and most people saw it coming. In many spiritual traditions, eggs are believed to absorb negative energy when used in cleansing rituals, acting as a vessel that pulls harmful forces away from a person or environment. But there is one rule that practitioners strongly emphasize. Once the egg absorbs that energy, it must never be opened inside the home. it must be buried outside, far from where you live, because burying it symbolically traps whatever it has absorbed within the earth, sealing it away and preventing it from returning. But Aaron cracked the egg inside his apartment, and according to certain beliefs, that single mistake may have undone everything. So for now, we can only hope things get better.